share some good news with you, helping us remember some of the best stories of the year. Inside Edition correspondent and author of One More Hug, Megan Alexander. Megan, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mike. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. As we head into 2020, what are some of the stories of people making a comeback that you think can give us motivation heading into that new decade?
Yeah, difficult to choose, but so many people remember this video, Mike. UCLA gymnast Caitlin Ohashi. She stole our hearts with a dazzling floor routine. You remember this, flipping and kicking all over the place, did not even look human. She scored a perfect 10 and stole everybody's hearts as well. But her backstory is even more inspiring when we discovered that she helped UCLA clinch a NCAA title by recovering from a car accident prior. She says she wants to bring the joy back into gymnastics, has spoken out about body positivity and positive body image.
What
Love
a
that
great
one.
story. Yeah, absolutely. A comeback story after a car accident and with such a positive message. That's beautiful. So this weekend was obviously full of horrific images out of houses of worship. As we head into the new year, where have you seen these kind of faith communities coming together to offer grace and forgiveness?
Yeah, well, last February, a man walked into a Baptist church in Arkansas. He says that he was angry at God, high on meth, and he tore the church apart, vandalizing it and destroying more than $100,000 worth of church property. Well, Mike, about 6 months later, that same man walked back into that same church, stood in the baptismal pool, and declared his love for Christ. He said he was the one that had vandalized the church prior, and he asked for forgiveness. An incredible story.
Wow.
You dig a little deeper and you find out that the pastor wanted to help put him through a rehab program. He completed that program, and the pastor stood next to him 6 months later and told the congregation, quote, "You can't preach something for 50 years without practicing it." This man, he earned our forgiveness.
What a great
Incredible
story of living the faith and not turning him away or showing him the back of your hand, but actually welcoming him with open arms and bringing him into your community. How beautiful is that?
Amen.
I spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill covering what many see as the divisiveness here in Washington. What's the best example of loving your enemy or opponent that can challenge us all as the next decade begins?
Yeah, well, we're right in the middle of football. We got the playoffs, the Super Bowl coming up, so how about a football story that warmed our hearts? Texas football, if you've ever lived in Texas, and I have, you know it's competitive down there. Well, after a high school football game, two rival teams, the team that won, instead of celebrating, one of the players walked down the field and knelt in prayer with the rival team's star player.
Beautiful.
And we found out that these two guys got together. They had known each other growing up and wanted to pray for one of the players' mothers who was battling stage 4 lung cancer. And the mom said what an incredible example that was, that they can be competitive on the field, give it their all, but when the game's over, they come together as gentlemen, knelt together and prayed. That went viral, touched so many people's hearts, and is such a great example for our kids in being an excellent athlete, but also showing sportsmanship.
It's beautiful. I started my career in Midland, Odessa, Texas, home of Friday Night Lights, and so high school football is king, but great to see those guys doing it the right way. Okay, so we're heading into 2020, a new decade. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the energy of a fresh start. I think we're all excited about that and so much to come. And I tell you what, Mike, I think we're going to have a lot of stories coming up this year. I'm excited for a new decade, and they are out there. So thank you to everybody that always sends me their ideas. I can't wait to hear more.
You've done a great job of gathering these positive news stories together and bringing them to light. We thank you so much for that. And we wish you, obviously, a very happy, healthy, and successful 2020.
Thanks, Mike, to you as well. Thank you so much.
Megan Alexander, thank you so much. You really were a ray of sunshine tonight at the end of our show. We really appreciate it.
You bet.
Tonight...